Hi, my name is Jenn Potter, and I am the host of Networking Now, where we are a show that talks about networking and the community, different types of businesses of all array, what people are doing, how are they connecting, and how are they growing their business. Today, I am joined by Michelle Drew. She is a friend of mine that I've known for some time, and believe it or not, we met through networking. Shocking, right? And she is a naturopathic wellness consultant. And over the course of time, I've really gotten to know what it is she does and how she does it. But today, I wanted to bring her on to tell us a little bit about herself. You can tell everybody how we met and, through networking and what it is that you do. So, welcome, Michelle.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. So, yeah, my business is naturopathic wellness, and it's all about doing things more naturally to, just feel better, look better, age better, right? And we met through networking, like you said, as part of the best networking group I've ever been a part of, actually. And I think you've heard me say that on several occasions. But I haven't always been a naturopathic wellness person or a healthy person for that matter. I actually landed myself in the ICU in a medically induced coma for 3 weeks, in the hospital for four, because I didn't have a good lifestyle. I didn't make good choices. I was in corporate America, climbing that corporate ladder and, running fast, drive-through windows, fast food, processed food. And I just really ended up in an unhealthy place. The doctors told my family that they did not think I was going to live. And if I did, I would have permanent brain damage and really not be a functioning human. So here I am.
Which is so crazy. And you got to this point in your life and just like me, right? And some of the stuff that you say like really hits me because it's like that go go go. And sometimes it's hard for me to stop, and I've had to teach myself how to stop. But you actually hit a physical wall and your body shut down. And how would you say, coming out of that, how did your perspective change and really change your course of what it is that you're doing?
Wow. My perspective changed like 180 degrees. I was like, oh my God, if I don't change something now, I really could have died. And so every day is a blessing now. I did go back to corporate America once I got healthy. I went back to it for 3 years. I'm stubborn and I don't learn lessons quickly, but I went back for 3 years and then just realized that it was not my path. It wasn't my path. So, I always try to encourage people not to wait until they hit a brick wall or get slammed in the face with a 2x4 to make small changes to be healthier.
So when we're talking about your journey and what it is that you do, I know what you do, but I would love to hear a little bit more in depth. What does a naturopathic wellness consultant do? And how is it that you help your clients in order to kind of get to that next step?
Yes. So a naturopathic wellness professional basically identifies lifestyle habits, medication, all the things that people do on a daily basis, and identify root cause of challenges that they might be having. So I am huge on compliance because if I throw everything at somebody, the chances of them doing it all are slim to none. If I throw two or three things at them that they can do easily and get fantastic results, that's going to be a better scenario for them. When they feel the results, they'll be asking, okay, what else? What else can I add to my regimen? And for me, that seems to have worked really well so far.
I love that. And for, to kind of get involved in what you're doing, how does one start working with a naturopathic wellness such as yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about others, but my intake form is about 8 pages of lifestyle. Right down to do your floss because that's important, really important. what kind of deodorant you use, and are you on medications and for what? Because if I can look at the bigger picture, I can identify some areas that we need to focus on. And Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said over 2,000 years ago that all disease begins in the gut. So that's my specialty. The two areas that I start with are the gut and balancing the pH of the body.
I love that, and I
Yeah.
was really big into the pH balanced water for a long time, for years
Mhm.
actually, and I noticed such a difference when I stopped actually
Yeah.
drinking that water, and I started doing more, electrolytes, but, having a person such as myself who gut health is so big, when you say that, it's like, absolutely,
Mhm.
110%. You can heal yourself naturally, and I know I personally have, so what you're doing, I think, is really important. I was diagnosed with Crohn's, I think, about 10 years ago,
Wow.
and they wanted to remove a piece of my stomach. They wanted to do surgery. And when I met with my, nutritionist, and that's what my degree's in, I pretty much said there has to be an easier way of doing this. And I did it naturally. And it was painful and it took a long time. But I will tell you, like, I don't take medicine for that. I haven't had a flare up. I, do everything I'm doing with natural foods. And it's amazing how when you can alter those things, what a difference it makes. And I'm a firm believer everything is in your gut. When you're stressed out, your stomach hurts, and it's like directly correlated. And I think that that is so important with what it is that you're doing. So I think that that's really, really awesome. And just hearing a little bit about your story and about how you got to where you were and, to make those different changes, I think that, it speaks volumes. It really, really does. And, getting yourself out there and kind of talking about it a little bit more, when we just recently did the conference, I got to hear a little bit more about your expertise when we were talking about the different things in the health and wellness panel. And I think it's, having such a diverse background, I think, is really important. And before you were in this industry and you were in the corporate world, you had this trigger and it really, something that changed your life. And, I was talking with another guest on another episode and we were talking about how we usually don't make big life changes until something traumatic happens, right? Like,
Yes.
we're always told that, we should do something, but we don't. Like, if you don't slow down, you're gonna burn out. Well, until we hit burnout, you're like, oh, that's what they were talking about, right? And what I find really interesting about, being in the coaching consulting area, my focus primarily, and I can probably, say the same thing about you as well, is our job is to stop that person from hitting that burnout, stop that person from getting to that point. Like you said, you're doing a full assessment. And I stopped for a second when you said 8 pages, and I was like, wow, that's a lot. And then you were like, do you floss your teeth? And I was like, oh, I floss my teeth, but I do know that, heart disease is directly correlated to people who don't floss and all of the other problems. But it's funny because the nerd in me goes to all of the reasonings why, where a person who may not be educated in those fields don't really understand. But it is so important because if you're not doing these things to take care of your body, where are those things lacking?
Yeah.
And I find that to be really beautiful with the work that you're doing because I feel like it's really important. And it's not everybody puts themselves first in that manner. Not everybody is going to go out and say, yes, this is what I need to do to change my life. But you have been through that. And I think it's important to recognize that you've been through these things in your life. And now, you're here to be more proactive instead of reactive. And I think that's amazing. And
Thank you.
we're going to break to our first break of the session. And when I come back, I am Jenn Potter, host of Networking Now. I'm here with Michelle Drew. We're going to talk a little bit more about naturopathic wellness, if I could speak English, and dive a little bit further into that. So we'll be right back.